Hey, and we're live. How do you do, fellow metalheads? Welcome to episode 5 of the Wyatt's Metal podcast. Thank you all for tuning in. Um, I had quite the exciting week since the last time I was on here. As you might be able to tell from my shirt, I made it out to Milwaukee Metal Fest. It was extremely last minute. I didn't think that I was going. If you watched my last live stream last week, I mentioned that I was in communications with them to talk about like figure something out, and I didn't think it was going to happen. And then literally right when I ended the live stream last week, I got an email from them confirming that I can go. So they ended up giving me a photo pass, which was awesome. I've never had that experience before. Um but yeah, so last week when the live stream ended, I legit had to all of a sudden book a trip to Milwaukee and figure out like everything I was going to do. It was very interesting. I've done last minute concerts and those are great when you don't know that like the wake up one morning you're like, "Oh, I'm going to the concert now." Never done last minute festival like that. So that was a lot, but it was awesome. Um yeah, yeah, so as I mentioned, they ended up giving me a photo pass because of my channel, which is awesome. I never really thought of that, I guess, when I started the channel. Um so That being said, I'm definitely not gonna just be biased on it and be like, "It was the greatest festival I've ever been to. It's 100% amazing, like, absolutely perfect, no issues whatsoever." I'm not gonna shill. I have to keep it honest. But I do think it's important to just state that got hooked up a little bit by them. Mostly just for the videos too, because oh man, I cannot wait to get this video up. I got such good footage. Um, but Yes, because for most of the bands that I wanted, I was in the photo pit area right in front of the stage, so, I'm pretty sure Randy Bly from Lamb of God sweated on me. I could hear Scott Ian, like, strumming the strings of his guitar, which is crazy. Um, but so that all being said, Milwaukee Metal Fest was fucking awesome, I thought. It was great. Yeah, after the experience I had from Sick New World, as I'm sure some of you probably know about. I was eager to see how another festival would go. Um, and for the most part, I would say Milwaukee Metal Fest went off mostly without a hitch. For the most part, all the bands sounded great. Maybe a few like instances here and there, but nothing significant that I could even like point out or complain about. Just kind of like usual stuff. But I will say that, like Sick New World, some bands did get delayed a little bit by a couple of minutes, but unlike Sick New World, when they started, they did sound great and they got to play their entire sets. Nobody got cut short or chased off stage. So that was good. That's a plus. um, but yeah, so the festival takes place at this venue called The Rave. It's owned by the Eagles team. This place was awesome. It wasn't hard to get to. It was in a nice enough area to where my Airbnb was staying at was, like, 10 minutes away. It wasn't hard to get to. Um, yeah, so it wasn't hard to get to, and the venue itself was pretty cool. It was kinda like a downstairs bar area, and then you went upstairs, and there was another, like, bar, a couple, like, kind of, in-between area where there was a couple vendors set up selling shirts and stuff like that. Um, and then there was one venue, so there were 3 different stages. There was one that was the smallest one, and it was, like, what you'd see at a local bar, which is cool. And then next to that was a, uh, a mid-sized stage, like a club, pretty decent sized, but, more like your typical club experience, and then upstairs was a giant, massive ballroom that was where all the headliners like Lamb of God played. Um And what I really liked is that it's really easy to get to every single venue. Never really, like, had to wait in line or trudge to get anywhere. It's pretty much each venue is a staircase away from each other. So if you we're in a hurry. You could get to each stage in like a minute, 2 minutes. It wasn't a problem at all. That was cool. Uh, yeah, and I saw a lot of great fucking bands. This lineup really appealed to me a lot because it had a lot of legendary stuff that I grew up with and is bands I still listen to. Like Anthrax is my very first metal band. Lamb of God are legends. And then, but it also had a good heavy amount of newer bands that are kind of leading the way for death metal now that I haven't gotten to check out yet. Like Gatecreeper, who I have seen before, but Gatecreeper is great. Love them. Undeath. I'd never seen them or really listened to them, but I thought they were awesome. They put on a really good show. Who else was there? I had another one. Oh, Frozen Soul. This was my first time seeing Frozen Soul, and they were fucking amazing. They were so good. They have such a heavy sound. The crowd was going nuts for them. Like, oh, Frozen Soul is so goddamn good. Um, Sorry, I'm pulling up the comments right here, but yeah, comment, dude. I'd kill to see Gatekeeper live. They're so goddamn good. Like, it's just I love that they have an old school death metal style, but I don't know. It has a bit of a new edge to it. It feels refreshing in a way. I think they're part of the Texas scene that is fucking kicking ass right now. Let me pull up some of these. So, the dude from Fuming Mouth definitely sweated on me. Yeah, that'll happen. Especially when you're that close and the venue's that small, especially little bar stage. Everyone's just pressed up. Heard some folks say Friday sounded a little money, but I didn't think anyone sounded bad. Yeah, a couple of my friends I was with said that there were a few bands on the main stage that didn't have good sound, but I didn't really think so or notice it. And then the days after they said that I didn't notice anything. So there's a little bit here and there. One thing I did notice, and you people who were there, I wonder if you caught on to this too. I think it was the first band, Elegon, however the fuck you say their name. Um, no. It was Warbringer. My bad. Sorry for yelling in everybody's ear, but Warbringer was playing on the main stage, and right around the pit area, I don't know if someone died and then had diarrhea, and then someone ate the diarrhea, and then they died, and then they had diarrhea, but it was the worst fucking smell ever. Just, like, was in the entire fucking ballroom to the point where I started walking away because it was so bad, and then I see a lot of other people walking away and making faces too. At first, I thought it was just me being sensitive to something, but lots of people were walking away, and I started asking people, and they all said the same thing. I don't know what the fuck that was. I didn't notice it again up there, but for anyone who was there who watched Warbringer, let me know if you noticed that too, because it was very, very strange. Oh yeah, see, here's a comment right now. I was like getting in, and Warbringer was the first band I saw. Yes, something definitely happened in there. Yeah, it was bad. Like, not. It didn't seem like just a fart or something. It smelled like something died repeatedly. It was I've never, like, had to leave from watching a band because it smelled so fucking bad. That is impressive. Oh, yeah, here's a good comment right here. The rave bar has a capacity of 300, 400. I thought it was less. That place was tiny. The rave 2 has a capacity of, like, 2,200, and the Eagles Ballroom can fit over 5,000 in it. Yeah, the ballroom was great. It was huge. Um, really good shows in there. Adam says Frozen Soul kicks ass live. They do, man. I was totally blown away. They played at the same time as Fear Factory, and a lot of my friends went to see them, and I was like, I'm going to see Frozen Soul. Uh, uh, Someone asked, "Did you see Vended?" I caught their opening song, and I would say they had good sound quality. They weren't my thing, but I will say that I thought sound wise it was fine. So if you like them, then yeah, I'd recommend checking them out. But so, yeah. Missile Girl says, "Good old post-mortem diarrhea." Yeah, it's the best. Everyone's favorite. So let me try to remember all the bands I saw. I saw a little bit of Allegion, however you say their name. Great guys. Um, as much of Warbringer as I could stomach from the smell. There was the first day was cool because the headliner was Biohazard, and personally, I don't care about Biohazard, and I have never met anyone in my life who said the words, "Dude, Biohazard's cool." So, to me and my friends, the last band was Napalm Death, I think, or, Dark Angel. We watched a little bit of Dark Angel. But so I watched first day was Legion, Warbringer, Napalm Death, who the fuck else played? It's hard. I have to go back and look through all my videos and look at the schedule to remember who the fuck played. I could probably pull it up though. If you'll give me one momento. As a whole, I thought Milwaukee Metal Fest was awesome. It was really well done. It was easy, I would say. Like nothing felt overly strenuous. Nothing felt like so exhausting that it was bullshit or that yeah, I thought it was awesome. It was really it one thing that I will say is that it did feel really fast, and one reason for that is because bands had fairly short sets playing, I don't know, 30 minutes, 25 depending on the band. Headliners played about an hour. So, they already did have kinda short sets, and then since this is pretty much all, like, death metal and hardcore, it was just like, "Go, go, 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 do, 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 do," which is awesome, but when you're that amped up and going, it feels like it goes by really quickly. So, all the bands I saw were great, and I had a blast, but it did feel like it went by really quickly. So maybe a suggestion I would have for that would just, give bands a little bit longer sets. Not by much, because I know that it's pretty typical for all festivals, the time set that they had, so I didn't, that's not like a fault I'm going to throw at Milwaukee Metal Fest exclusively. Those are average set times. I would just like more of it. Um Oh, yeah, there we go, good comment. We saw Revenge and then left, also didn't care about Biohazard. Yeah, so I did pull up the schedule here for the first day so I can actually remember who the fuck played. Uh Yeah, it's funny. Me and my friends were happy because we wanted to see Napalm Death. They were great as usual, and we watched a little bit of Dark Angel, maybe like half their set, and then we headed out, and we were back by at our Airbnb by like 10. Super early for a metal festival. You'd think you'd spend a lot more time partying and going nuts, but no, we like that. It was nice, and Napalm Death are great. Oh man, me and my friends were saying we've never seen Napalm Death play a bad set. Napalm Death, Obituary, and Lamb of God, I would say I've never seen him play a bad show or even a okay show. They've always just killed it. Oh yeah, I gotta answer this comment. Gotta know if you saw the Halo Effect. Been hoping for a live report, waiting for a full length US tour. I did see the Halo Effect and they were fucking awesome. They were very, very good. It was pretty refreshing to me to hear more melodic death metal because a lot of the festivals either hardcore, just kind of old school brutality. So that was a nice change for me. Um, they were really good. I really liked their album. I'm not disappointed at all in seeing them live. So yeah, if you get the chance, definitely do it. Loved them. Uh, Another comment. Oh, dude, I was praying that the Halo effect would get added to Louder Than Life since I live in Kentucky and adore Melodeath. Um, I love Melodeath too. That is one of my favorites. It hits a certain spot for me, so it was nice to have that refresher there. I would say, Yo, Obituary fucking killed it. That show should have been in the Eagle Ballroom because that was packed. Yes, you were completely right. The Obituary headlined the mid-size venue of that fits about 2,200 people, and it was fucking packed. And they definitely should have been on the main ballroom because I've seen them play crowds that big and seen them play on stage is that big. It was way too over fucking packed in there. So yeah, I think they definitely should have been on the main stage, but they were still amazing. I was telling my friends like Obituary is like a good barbecue. Like you know you're going to be satisfied. You know what you're getting, but you know it's going to be satisfying and you're just settled. I don't think Obituary has ever got confirmed for a festival and people thought, "Damn, we have to see Obituary." I'm pretty sure it's always like, "Oh, dude, yeah, let's go watch Obituary." Fantastic band. Um Yeah, Obituary set was totally insane. At first, I was in the photo pit, and the interesting thing about the photo pit is that you can't tell how big the crowd is behind you because if you turn around and actually face them, you can only see maybe like 3 or 4 rows of people, and then it's just kind of a blur. But so I'd be up there for the first 3 songs or so, taking videos, they're gonna be awesome, and then I would go out into the crowd and then be like, "Holy shit, I had no idea this was this many people in here." I did that for Machine Head. I was up front for their first songs, taking videos, and to me, I just see them on stage playing. I'm aware that there's a lot of people, but I only see just a band playing, and then once I'm done, I walk out into the crowd, I'm like, "Oh my god, there's thousands of people." It was really interesting perspective. For a lot of the bands, I would start in the photo pit and get videos and enjoy that, and then I would go out into the crowd and I would sometimes be in the mosh pit area, sometimes I would go up on the balcony and I would kind of move around throughout band sets to get a whole bunch of different perspectives. And that was really cool. I used to be the person when I was like 16 that would be on the rail all day and getting elbows dug in your back and you'd be in pain, but it was worth it because it's metal. And it's much nicer to just casually wander around and enjoy yourself. And then for the songs that, hit me hard, I didn't mosh, to be honest, but definitely a lot of neck breaking, a lot of head banging. Uh, who else did I see? I did have a set time here. But yeah, so that first day was really cool, really good, kinda felt like a warm up in a way, just because I personally didn't watch that many bands. I got there around a Legion, left for Napalm Death, or left after Napalm Death. Um, and then it was on to day 2, and day 2 was more packed for me. There was a lot of cool shit. Um, started the day off, I had no idea this was even in the area. Because if any of you asked me what I knew of Milwaukee last week, I would have answered that it's there, and that would have been my only answer. But, before we went to the festival, my friends take me to this empty old lot, and I find out that it was the apartment of Jeffrey Dahmer. I had no fucking idea that was even in the state that it was in, but yeah, the festival was down the street from where Jeffrey Dahmer lived, and the hotel where he once killed someone is literally across the street from the venue. So that was interesting, getting some of the city's culture and history on this trip. Um, but day 2 was pretty packed out. I saw a whole bunch of bands. We started with, I think, Malignancy was really good. Blood Incantation. I watched Terror because I wanted to see the crowd go apeshit for them. They're one of the few, like, straight up hardcore bands that played. I'm not even really that big of a fan of Terror, but I just know their shows are nuts, and that was awesome. And then Frozen Soul were so goddamn good. After Frozen Soul was Jungle Rot, who I've seen a bunch of times. I actually opened for them one time. And Jungle Rot were fucking sick. Like, I've seen them a lot, and they're always kind of like I was saying before, you know what you're gonna get, and for good or for bad. But I was sitting there, I was up on the balcony in the club where they played, and I was sitting there more just kind of like relaxing, taking a break. And I was like, "I'll hang out here and check them out. Why not?" They were really good. Their sound was heavy as fuck. Uh, yeah, it was. Jungle Rot were sick. If you get the chance, I recommend seeing them. Planet Killer says, "Damn, that close." Yeah, it's fucking crazy being that up to the crowd where, like, I literally have my arm on the stage and I'm, like, trying to get shots in. I kept feeling like someone was gonna run up and chase me out. It was like imposter syndrome. I've never been there before, so I kept thinking someone was gonna come and be like, "Hey, get the fuck out!" But I'm like, "I have a badge. I'm allowed to be here." And it's like, "Oh, I feel like I'm doing something wrong at first." Um, Question. Oh, you went to the lot. I stayed at the Ambassador, which is the hotel you just mentioned. Oh, how was staying there? That's interesting. I mean, that'd make it hell easy because literally across the street. Yeah, we went to the lot. It was literally just nothing. There's like I think the whole place is for sale. I don't think anyone lives there anymore. But there's like two apartment buildings, and then it's empty to where the other one was that he actually lived in. When we went there, some of my friends were taking selfies because they're fucked up, and some normal people, not metalheads, showed up and were also taking selfies, and everyone was kind of like quietly snickering about how dark this is, and I just go, "Yeah, we're all good people," and everyone just started busting up laughing. Oh, I do gotta answer this because so Saturday I was up front for Phobophiliac right away. Yeah, I had no idea who they are. I had never listened to them before, and me and my friends were there not really doing anything at that moment. So I was like, "Hey, let's just go down and just see whatever band's playing and just see how they are." I've done that a bunch of times at festivals, just like who's playing right now? Never heard of them. Let's just go check it out. And I've discovered awesome bands that way. And Phobophiliac is one of them. We were highly impressed when we walked in. Didn't expect anything. Well, like one of the first bands of the day. And they were sick. They were really heavy. All of my friends, we were turning to each other and we were like, dude, like these guys are good. So I recommend checking them out. Uh, I keep forgetting how to pronounce their name, but I'll pull it up again. Phobophiliac, they were awesome. Planet Killer says, "I'm a huge true crime junkie, and the only reason I've heard of Milwaukee was because of Dahmer." Yeah, see, I watched the Dahmer series on Netflix, which was great, and completely forgot that it was in Milwaukee. I had literally no clue until we rolled up to it. It makes sense to me. You would hold a death metal festival in a location where one of America's most famous serial killers lived. We had that reminds me, after the festival was over on the last day, me and my friends were waiting for our Uber, and some guy offered to give us a ride, and he was like, "Yeah, I've talked to you guys in there, like, I can drop you off, it's fine." And then we denied it, and he left, and then I was like, "Yeah, probably not a good idea to take rides from strange men outside of clubs in Milwaukee on the block that Dahmer lived on." Yeah. Jungle Rot said, "Put these fuckers to work. I want you to send as many people at the same time." Lots of crowd surfing. There was a couple bands did that. They really made the security work for it. Oh, that reminds me. I think it was the Halo effect. Yeah. There was some little kid. There were actually lots of kids at this festival, but there was some little kid who kept crowd surfing over and over again, and I kept seeing him go up and then dash through the crowd and go up, and he did it like maybe 8 times during their set. But you could tell he was having a blast, and the singer kept like high fiving him, thumbsing up. Uh, there were a lot of kids at the festival, but like awesome kids, metal kids. During Suicidal Tendencies, they brought up these two kids who were in the crowd onto the stage, and they pretty much ran around the entire set. That was cool. Yeah, no annoying kids or anything. It was all like young little future metalheads. It was awesome to see. A lot of the bands were shouting them out. That's awesome. um, yeah, sounds like me and you were at a lot of the same shows. It does sound like it. I saw. It's such a it's such a blur. Even right when you come back, it almost feels like a dream in a lot of ways. But anyway, after Jungarot, I saw Black Dahlia Murder, who I've never really been a big fan of, but my friends were massive fans and wanted to see the new singer give it a go, and I thought they were good. I think I heard their stuff, like their early stuff, way, way back in like 2007, the MySpace days, and wasn't really into it. But from what I saw, the set was really good. And then fucking Obituary, always solid. I've seen them a bunch of times. Never once have they ever performed badly. They're amazing. um, oh yeah, I am being reminded here that Obituary went pretty late. They were supposed to end shortly into Suicidal Tendencies set time, and they went pretty far into it. And I like both bands, but if I have to choose between the two, I'm going with Obituary. So I finished their set, caught the ending of Suicidal Tendencies, and then Anthrax. And Anthrax, for me, is the first metal band I ever heard. I 100% credit them with getting me into metal and changing my life. When I was young in middle school, high school, I think, a friend let me borrow an Ozfest DVD back when I didn't know like fucking anything about metal. And I checked it out, and Anthrax were on there, and they played Caught in a Mosh, and that fucking bass riff at the beginning just gets into my veins. It still brings up that energy. I remember hearing it for the first time and going, "What is this?" And ever since then, that song has done that to me. My first metal show was Anthrax when Joey Belladonna just came back, and then I've seen him a bunch of times since then. It's always been amazing. Anthrax is one of those bands I feel like gets better with age because every time I've seen them, they've gotten like heavier, faster, more insane. Um, I was in the front of I was in the photo pit. So standing right in front of like Scott Ian's pretty much standing on top of me. I can hear when he's yelling at the crowd. I can literally hear him strumming the actual fucking what the fuck? I'm totally losing my strings. God. Like in my video, you can actually hear the but so they start playing the song right in front of me, and I'm feeling that like amped energy, but I'm in the photo pit and I'm also like, I'm kind of like working right now. And also, um, last time I saw Anthrax at Aftershock Festival in Sacramento, when they played Cotton Mosh, I ran into the mosh pit and I broke my fucking leg. And since then, I have not moshed since. So when they were playing it now, I was getting that sense when I was like a young teen of, oh my God, it's bringing it all back. And at the same time, my leg starts like tingling and I'm like, oh God. But they were great. They were really, really good. Um, I have to read this comment. We missed Anthrax because we took way too much strong edibles and it was just too much. My brother was also half drunk, so he was done. Yeah, I think a lot of people went pretty hard at the festival and got knocked out. I know my friends did. My friends actually did leave before Anthrax came on too, just because they were wiped out. I made it. But yeah, they were solid. Trying to remember the next day, the last day. Headlined by Lamb of God, who are insane live. Love seeing them. Crowd was going absolutely ape shit. And then, yeah, as Dwarven asked, did you catch Machine Head? I caught, I think the majority of their set. Um, to be honest, I've never been much of a big fan of Machine Head. I've seen them live a couple times, and they do put on a hell of a show and get the crowd going. But for them, I started in the photo pit to get good videos, and then they were one of the bands where like I went over to the mosh pit, and then I went over to like the balcony. I was kind of moving all over the place. I did see they brought out Jamie Josta and did some song with him, but the crowd was definitely going ape shit for Machine Head. I got some good footage of the mosh pit, and I thought they sounded good for what they do. You know, they're not one of my bands I listen to, but I enjoyed what they did. I would say. I know a lot of people go fucking ape shit over them. But if you could choose Machine Head or Meshuggah, I asked this because they play on Grass Pop at the same time. I'd go with Meshuggah. I mean, that's hard because those are both really respected and established bands. It's kind of like go to Machine Head if you're more, I guess, thrashy and want to see like the big, crazy mosh pits and crowd surfing people going totally ape shit. Or go to Meshuggah if you want the more like death metal, much better, much more talented musicians. Just doing absolutely crazy shit because nobody can compare to Meshuggah. I've seen them before couple times too. They always kill it. But Machine Head really got the crowd going. Everyone was going apeshit for them. And then Lamb of God were fantastic. They played a bit of an older set. I don't know if they really played much of their newer last like couple albums. Because for those that don't know, Milwaukee Metal Fest actually used to happen back in like the early 2000s. It started in 1987. It went to 2007. And it was like this old school, or it was at the time, this underground metal gathering where it was like one of the few places you could see legit metal bands like Mayhem and Suffocation and Merciful Fate and stuff like that. So a lot of the bands that played it back in the day are bands that played it now. And it was a really big like homage to what the festival used to be. Like Randy from Lamb of God was saying how 20 years ago when he was going fucking apeshit here. Um so yeah, so Lamb of God played an older set. Anthrax didn't play any newer songs. And they kept promoting it as the Palaces Burns set. They played like a couple songs off of it. They didn't play the whole album, which was what a lot of people thought they were gonna do. But they still fucking killed it. They were sick. Um, the only yeah, so Milwaukee Metal Fest was fucking great, I thought. Everything was handled really well. The sound issues that weren't there weren't anything that really stood out a lot or ruined anything. Um, I will say that I kind of thought there'd be more things to do in between bands. There was a handful of vendors selling metal shirts and patches, but that was really it. I thought there'd be a little bit more vendors, a little more of a metal market type of thing. I mean, what they had was cool, but wasn't really like much to do beside if you had a break between bands, you could either like grab a drink, buy a shirt, hang out. That's pretty much it. I mean, I wasn't expecting like crazy games or anything, but usually festivals have a bit more vendors, and that's one thing that I would recommend for the next Milwaukee Metal Fest. But I asked my friends what they thought about the experience too, if they thought the price point was worth it and everything. They said that they definitely thought it was worth it. It was about 360 or so after taxes for all 3 days, which is the same price that Sick New World was for 1 day. So this was much more worth it. You got much better sets. You got finished sets. I think that was a pretty good price point for 3 days. I would have liked a better headliner than Biohazard for the first night, but it's fine. But this festival, I do hope continues and gets a lot of success, and it has a lot of potential, I think, to be one of America's kind of like foundations of actual metal festivals, actual underground bands, stuff that appeals to much more of the extreme side of things. Because the lineup was absolutely solid. It was one of the for American festivals, I would say it was the best one I saw for the year. Um, Sunday for me was up front for Gates to Hell and Casket Robbery. Caught a bit of Hath. I don't even know what that is. Some of Mortis Skull up front for Fuming Mouth. Sure. That fucking band, like they were good, but I have no idea how to pronounce their name. And me and my friends were just saying like, it's Sungergersberg, Skurgerberger, Sugar Durgerberger, Skurgerberger was great. No, they were really good. That's one hell of a fucking name. Body Snatcher, Lunch, Gate Creeper, then Lamb of God. My favorite band is Lunch. I think they're awesome. The food trucks that were there were actually pretty good. The food is far cheaper than it is on the West Coast, but for like $11, I got a good mac and cheese with brisket in it. They had pretty good burgers and like good sized food. Again, I would say not as many like food vendors as I thought there would be, but there was enough because there's multiple different options. There was never really like a long line for anything. There was so many bars that you could easily just walk up to one and get a drink immediately. There's pretty much no lines for anything. If there was a line, if you just walked around a little bit more, you would have found one without a line. Um, right, Lunch is definitely up there as one of my favorite bands as well. They're a great one, always satisfying. Uh, but this event was really, really good. I'd say it surpassed my expectations. Um, Definitely little improvements here and there, but it was a good time. It wasn't difficult. I mean, unless you were moshing and going crazy, that depends on you. But in terms of like just getting around and enjoying the shows, it wasn't difficult at all. Um, I liked that the festival was nearby civilization. It took no time at all to get to an Airbnb, get to a store, or whatever. So I strongly, strongly recommend Milwaukee Metal Fest. I hope it builds up more. Um, Justice said they did better than they thought, and it sounds like 2024 is already on. Good. I would hope so, since they spent the money buying the rights. But this festival's solid. I'll definitely go to the next one. I liked Milwaukee a lot more than I thought I would too, because I didn't know anything about it, and it was, not amazing, but fine. I thought it was nice. Just nice to not go to a festival that's in the middle of some empty field in the middle of nowhere. Uh, Leonard says, "Hi, hey, what's up, man?" So I am working on the Milwaukee Metal Fest video. I'm gonna try to get it done as soon as possible. I wanted to write it on my plane ride back, but I hate plane rides. It feels like my brain falls out and can't focus. So it's being worked on. It will be up in the next couple days. I'm really excited for it. I hope everybody checks it out. Um, what else besides that? Did anything else happen this week in metal or any news stories? Oh, I will. One thing that has been happening the last week or so, which is very interesting, is 70,000 tons of metal. The metal cruise that takes place from Florida and goes to the different places throughout the Caribbean. Some of you may have seen my video on them where I put pretty clearly all the issues they'd been having for many, many years. 70K was announcing bands super late to where like 3, 4 months before the cruise, half the lineup wasn't announced. Um, Lots of issues. Last year's was a huge fucking disaster in terms of preparing for it. So I made my video, and this year, especially in the last week, they have been really getting their shit together. They've announced a good handful of bands already when the cruise is next January, which is way like weird for them. People have been on the cruise before, like I don't think they've ever announced bands this early before. Um, and they're actually booking some good ones. I like a good amount of the lineup already. They already have the booking information out. So I am proud of you, 70K, for getting your shit together. Um, because that shit was aggravating. But yeah, the lineup was already pretty good. Olivia comments, I started to consider the cruise thanks to their announcements. Yeah, see? See what happens when they actually announce stuff and you know what you're getting? You can actually consider going. I know this is a totally new concept for 70,000 tons of metal crew, but it works out quite well. Um, I'm hoping to go. We'll see. It's kind of a lot, but I definitely do want to go, especially if they're stepping it up and doing things right. I would love to go and do a report about how good they were this time. Because I only ever had issues with all their bullshit they were doing before. Adam says, been seeing all the 70K announcements. I want to try and make it out there this time. Yeah, it's pretty good. They announced Crypta, Nervosa. They just announced the Halo effect like before I jumped on here. Uh, Blood Red Throne, which a lot of people who go on the cruise love them. Epica. Who else was there? More. More. There'll be a lot more. I definitely want to go. It's such a good time. It's very expensive, but it is unlike any other experience you'll have. I've been on a normal cruise before, and it was horrible. I would never even consider any cruise that didn't have metal bands playing on it. So this is your one chance to get that experience, I would say. But what else was there? One thing I did want to mention on the podcast was I've seen the videos of Metallica's stage setup in Europe. I believe, yeah, they're on tour in Europe right now. I don't know if anyone watching this has been to any of those shows and seen Metallica. I would love to know what you think of their stage because I think it's fucking stupid. But I haven't been to the show, so I don't know. But let me pull it up and show you because it's very, very strange. Metallica like to do weird things with their stages. Oh shit, hang on. Almost clicked the wrong thing. Damn. Yeah, so Metallica like to do weird shit with their stages. They have one stage like in the middle and kind of just walk around the whole audience. I really think that was a little weird, but fine. But they've made it so much worse, I think. And I'm on it up. It's hard running a one man show, folks. You have to do everything and try to make it look natural. Okay, here. Well, that's not a good shot of it. I have seen Metallica, I think, twice now. They're cool. I've never been like a big fan. Like, obviously, more of their older stuff, but they've always been entertaining whenever I've seen them. Why is it so hard to find a picture of this goddamn thing? All right, I think that's kind of. Anyway, let me describe it to you as I'm trying to find a decent picture to pull up, or what am I doing? Pull up a video. Um, it's basically a giant donut. There's there's like a pit in the very, very middle of the arena, and then the stage goes around that pit where the band is, and they can walk through all these people, and then everyone else kind of just sees like one person at a time playing. It's really strange. Like I pull up their video. Here we go. To this crap, but okay, coming up. Show's about to start. I'd love to know what you guys think of this stage. So look at it. There's this pit in the middle of people, and then the stage goes around where the band is. So Lars is just set like in one corner, and then everyone just kind of moves wherever they want, and everyone over here. Like, I kind of feel like the better seats would be up here because you could actually see everybody. If you're standing right in the middle of the pit, you have to just turn in one direction to see each member of the band. You're like, oh hey, there's Kirk. All right, now I want to watch Lars. All right, now I want to watch James. I think that's fucking weird. And then if you're on the outside over here, you're only seeing one person at a time whenever they walk by. What about people over here? What about over here? Just staring at a fucking empty stage while Metallica. I think the stage setup is stupid. See this comment here. That was basically the setup when I saw them in 2018. Super weird, but I guess everyone has a chance to see everyone because they do rotate stations. That one back then was at least solid in the middle to where the whole band was there. I feel like it being open right here at this pit is just so weird to me. That's a terrible stage. Are they trying to get more steps in while they walk around? Maybe that's it. They need to combine their steps they're working out with when they're playing live. It's like, all right, here's a good excuse to walk a couple miles while we perform. What's wrong with just the classic normal stage in the corner where everyone could see it? Doesn't seem that difficult to me. I think it's weird. But I also wouldn't pay just to see Metallica anyway. So, if anyone goes to one of those shows, I would love to hear what you thought about it. Let me pull up here. Which next US tour are you most excited to attend? There's a couple. Um, one of them that I'm really stoked about is Danzig is doing a short tour where he's playing really close to me, and it's Danzig, Behemoth, Twin Temple, and Midnight, and I love all of those bands. And I'm very stoked for that one. And then I think the month after that is Alice Cooper and Rob Zombie are touring together. I am going to be front row for that. I fucking love both of those guys. There's a bit more good ones too. Like Napalm Death is about to play here in a few days, even though I just saw them at Milwaukee Metal Fest. They're always fucking great live, so I might go to that. Who else is playing? Later on in the year, Ghost is going on tour with Amon Amarth. But then in LA, they're playing separately to where Ghost is doing a big show, and then Amon Amarth is playing with Gatecreeper. And I'm going to that one because that's going to be sick. Who else is there? God, I don't know. There's so many bands, so many tours. It's hard to keep a list of all of them straight, really. Saw Midnight on Friday. They ruled. Midnight's fucking awesome. They're so good. I love just that old school, like sleazy sound. They sound like if Motorhead and Venom had sex on a beer and cigarette stained Motel 6 bed. That's what they sound like. And they put on a hell of a show. They're awesome. Saw the Danzig lineup. Bummed it's not headed my way. Yeah. I don't think Danzig does like big tours anymore. I think he plays like in sections over where he likes places, and that's it. Funny story about Danzig. I have a couple funny stories about Danzig. First one was that I apparently met him at the Rainbow Bar in LA. I say apparently because I was blacked out drunk when we met him. So a good friend of mine came to LA because we were going to Psycho Las Vegas where he was going to play. And we go to the Rainbow because it is a legendary metal place. And my friend had never been there. So we go. Her favorite band is Danzig. And as we're sitting there just bullshitting, we look over and we see Danzig in the corner with a couple people. His whole band was there. I guess it was like a rap party for his last really bad movie he did. And from what I remember, we like saw him. We were like, "Oh, we should go talk to him. That'd be cool." And then I woke up at home and don't remember anything after that. Apparently, we hung out with him and his people for a lot of the night. We all at least like talked to him and had a bit of a conversation with him. From what I've been told, it was like he was cool to all of us. Must have been like a rare full moon or something. But I had apparently met Danzig. I wish there was evidence of it, but you're just gonna have to take my friend's words for it. Oh, William comments. Last night in Seattle was Sepultura, Creator, Death Angel. Fuck yeah. All great bands. Spirit World also played. They're really cool too. All of those bands are sick. I love Creator. Death Angel has always been awesome live. Hey, got to give a shout out to Daniel in the chat for Putrid Eternity. Daniel is the guitarist for my band, Dark Insanity. He's a fantastic fucking dude. One of the best people I've ever worked with and had the pleasure to play live with. Check out our band, Dark Insanity. Check out his main band, Disciples of Death. Excellent old school death metal band from Long Beach. I've had the privilege to do a couple shows with them. Thanks for joining the chat, man. I'm glad you're in here. It's awesome. Another comment. Also saw the Sepultura show at the Wiltern. Nice. Yeah, that was a solid lineup. You know, I hate the Wiltern. I fucking hate that venue. I think the setup there is so stupid because they price the sections differently, but it's entirely on a first come first served basis where if you can pay for a pit ticket and if you show up later, they will not let you in the pit, even though you paid for it. They'll just be like, sorry, it's full. I think that's bullshit. I've seen a bunch of shows at the Wiltern. Like sound wise, it's good, but I prefer not to go there. William says, saw Danzig in August 1988 opening for Slayer at the Hollywood Palladium. That's awesome. I don't care for Danzig, not heavy at all. I don't know. I've seen him play some really heavy shows. I've seen him play some bad shows too. I'm sure everyone has. But when I last saw him at Psycho Las Vegas, he was surprisingly good. To where we were turning to people and being like, he's not supposed to perform this well. But that he always pulls good lineups too. So yeah, it's the lineup this year being Danzig, Behemoth, Twin Temple, and Midnight. Gonna be awesome. What other shows are coming up? I'm trying to remember. We have my band's first show's coming up real soon. June 30th, Dark Insanity is our first show playing in Long Beach. I'm amped for it. It's been a while since I've actually played live. Looking forward to it. And I will definitely post at least some video here on the channel so people can see it. And to promote the band, obviously, but mostly so people can see it. What's that? A lot of people have asked me if I'm going to Blue Ridge Rock Festival. I really want to. The lineup is nuts. There's bands that I think are genuinely amazing on it, and there's bands that I think would be hilarious to see live on it. But a lot of people keep asking me about that one. I really want to go to it. I'm going to see if I can work out something with them. Just be like, hey, check out my channel. Let me come. If that's the case, then yeah, I'll definitely do it. Oh, wait, what? They had security holding hands to stop people from getting in the pit, and the alcohol was, yep. The alcohol was insane prices. A beer and a shot for $25. Ridiculous. Yep. Fuck that venue. I saw King Diamond there one time, and one Modelo was $18, and I got so fucking mad. That's insane. Yeah, I've never been to a venue where you could buy a pit ticket, and if it's just too full, they'll just be like, "Oh, sorry." Like, that shit's fucking stupid. I always get disappointed whenever I see, like, King Diamond's playing there, 'cause I'm like, "Ah, I hate this venue." Um, I'm trying to think of more tours coming up. I know there's a lot. I know I'm very forgetful of them. God, I used to be back in the day, just, like, everything drilled into my mind and knew exactly who was playing where with who, when, blah, blah, blah. And now, I think it's probably living in LA, there's so much going on, but it's more like, who's playing when? What? Are they coming? Oh, let's go. But it's still awesome. Question: have you seen Megadeth live recently? I'm seeing them in August and would like to know if they have good energy. To be honest, I've never been a fan of Megadeth. I'll just be blunt about that. I do have a friend who really, really loves Megadeth, and I think she saw him recently and said it was great still. I think sound-wise, they're probably still good. I know Dirk is still in the band as the drummer. He's amazing. He brings energy just being there by himself. I would say if you like Megadeth, you probably will enjoy the show, but they have never been my thing, so I can't be like, dude, fuck yeah. Netty says, Lamb of God Headbangers Boat Cruise. Fuck yeah, that one is gonna be sick. That's basically Milwaukee Metal Fest on a boat. um I saw Lamb of God before on a cruise, actually. Funny enough, with the last comment, it was Mega Cruise. Megadeth had their own cruise that they ended up not playing, but saw Lamb of God on a cruise ship, and it was awesome. I think it's the same type of boat, too. It's fairly small, but, I mean, you're just running around venues seeing bands. It's gonna be a party. The lineup is really good. I think it's Lamb of God, Mastodon, Gatecreeper, Guar on a boat. I have no idea how that's gonna work, but I would love to see it. I think it already sold out, but man, I would like to go to that one because that looks sick. Oh, Daniel says Calvary and Exhumed in September, October. I'll definitely go to Exhumed. Exhumed's fucking awesome. Love that band. William, I was at Psycho Las Vegas 2021. Instead of Danzig, I went to watch Pool concerts, Cannibal Corpse, Dying Fetus, Pig Destroyer, Primitive Man. Fuck yeah. Psycho Las Vegas at least used to have a stage that was literally in the pool. If you wanted to be in the mosh pit, you had to be in the water, and it was fucking cool. I remember that because I was watching Danzig, and he played later than I thought he would into when Cannibal Corpse started, and I really wanted to run over and go see Cannibal Corpse, but I was with a friend who'd never been to Vegas, and I didn't want to like ditch and abandon. So I ended up catching probably the second half of Cannibal's set, but that was awesome. We were epic pool pits. People were going nuts. Water was flying everywhere. That was awesome. I really want Psycho to come back and still keep that pool stage. It was the coolest fucking stage I've ever seen. I remember walking up to the first time, not knowing what it was, and seeing just being like, Power Trip played there. That was nuts back in, I think 2020 or 2019. Sorry. Um, Pool pits. More festivals need pool pits, especially ones in Vegas. Also catch, I don't even know how to say that. To Mokhtar and Bambino, same genre. They toured US and Canada often. I don't know who those bands are, but I'm sure they're probably awesome. uh yeah, that's pretty much I think this last week in metal, mostly Milwaukee Metal Fest for me. Uh Loved it. Highly recommend it. Keep an eye out for the next one. I feel like hopefully it will only improve. I think it's a festival that could get a little bit bigger, but not much. Like it should stay at the same venue, probably, but just expand on what it already has. Get more vendors, probably lengthen band sets at least by a little bit. But I hope more people just find out about it and support it too, because it wasn't sold out, but I think it should be. and Yeah, Milwaukee Metal Fest, probably one of the best ones in America right now. I had a great time. Real big shout out to them for giving me the photo pass, and I cannot wait to make the video for you guys, which I will get back to doing pretty much right now, I would say. Um, oh, let me read this comment really quick. There's technically 5 stages in that building, so they can do more than they did this year. Jossa said they tried to be conservative and kind of expected to take a loss this year. I didn't know that. Um, I need to listen to the podcast of him when he's talking about the details, 'cause I'd love to hear that. But if that's true, then I think he did it smart. You know, it's interesting. I was never a Hatebreed fan. I don't like Jamie Josh's music, but he does a lot for the metal scene, and I do really respect how much he amplifies other bands, how much he puts in for smaller bands, for taking on this festival. So it's like I think he's a really respectable guy, even though I'm not personally a fan of the music. So, but I do feel like a festival like this is in good hands with him because he has good taste and he cares about promoting new bands and like sticking it. I don't feel like he's gonna sell out the festival. Hopefully. Uh oh yeah, there's a good comment. Halloween and Hammerfall on Friday in LA. You know, that reminds me. Last Sunday, Rhapsody of Fire played with Windrose in LA, and my friend's band Anubis opened for them. And I really wanted to go to that because to support my friends and also because they're awesome and also because I love Windrose and Rhapsody. And then I had to run off to Milwaukee Metal Fest, which sucks because I really wanted to see that show. But I hope people enjoyed that one. Oh, and Netty Netty says Napalm Death is Saturday. I just saw them, but like it's always worth saying. Dark Funeral and Cattle Decapitation next Saturday. Ooh, I should go with that. I love Dark Funeral. And I have not been able to see Cattle Decap yet, but I would really like to. So that should be cool. I'll answer this question quickly. Planet Killer asked, a little off topic, but what do you think about Ghost? So I first saw Ghost in 2016. I'd never really listened to him before. I saw them at Hellfest. They absolutely blew my mind. I thought they were incredible. And I got highly, highly obsessed with Ghost for that short period between that last album they had and then they completely changed their lineup, completely changed their sound. went in a much more like mainstream pop direction, and now I really don't like Ghost. It sucks because I saw them twice and I thought they were fucking amazing, but I don't like this new shit they're doing at all. And I really do not understand how they blew up as big as they are, playing a band that's blatantly, overtly satanic, playing massive arenas throughout all of America is really shocking. I think it's cool, but I have no problem with that. But I'm just surprised that it even happened and how they grew to that size in America, particularly. I'd still like to play their older songs that I still like from time to time, but I can't do their new shit at all. But I am a sucker for big, giant fucking concerts, and I do respect that. Oh, it says Jasta did say he wants to cultivate the next generation of headliners like Undeath, Gatecreeper, Skorgerberger. Not a Hatebreed fan, but Jasta seems like a solid dude. Yeah, exactly. I completely agree with that. He seems like a really solid dude. I respect what he does for the scene, and I really like that he added those bands in particular, Undeath, Gatecreeper, Frozen Soul, to the lineup, because I do feel like those are really heavy hitters nowadays. And then we got the classic Napalm Death, Obituary. It was great all around. Highly recommend it. But I think that is it for the podcast this day. I really got to get back to work on this video for you guys. I'm really excited about. Thank you for tuning in. I always really appreciate you guys watching, coming, hanging out, talking about metal. It's awesome to have this little community. Hope you all see some amazing concerts and have a good week, and I will catch you next time.